All right, Liberal Victorian Senator Sarah Henderson is pushing for roadblocks on the Great Ocean Road under a radical plan to stop rogue holidaymakers spreading the coronavirus. It comes as health advisors and police urge people to remain vigilant during the Easter break and stay home. Joining me now is Senator Henderson. Senator Henderson, thank you for joining us on Sky News across Australia. They're pretty radical sort of measures, roadblocks. That's what you're keen on?
Good evening, Peter. And absolutely, the Great Ocean Road is a major tourist icon, one of Australia's most famous roads, of course. And a couple of weekends ago, we saw an onslaught of visitors and holidaymakers coming to our region right along the Great Ocean Road. And frankly, it's just too much for police to go around and police every nook and cranny. Many people, from the reports I've received even today, are continuing to breach the restrictions. And I believe that roadblocks on the Great Ocean Road not only allow police to stop anyone travelling who does not have a legitimate purpose, but it also sends a very strong message. And Peter, let's not forget that strong message is please stay home this Easter because staying home does save lives.
Yeah, we were just talking with Claire about the mood of the country and how people are chomping at the bit to sort of get on with life. But at the same time, Australians have really been great, haven't we, in embracing the messaging from the Prime Minister and the state and territory leaders that this is so important. Stay home, only get out and travel during essential periods. But as you say, there are some rogues out there, where I call them drongos, and they're in every part of society, aren't they? And they will breach some of these protocols, some of these measures that are in place.
Look, I have to say the Prime Minister, the Health Minister, the state and territory leaders have all been incredibly strong in the message that we must stay home, and we are now seeing the positive results of that. The curve is flattening, but there is a lot of concern, Peter, that we just cannot, sort of take our foot off the accelerator on this. We really have to be careful over Easter that people don't become complacent. We are doing very well as a nation compared to other nations. But if you just look at what is happening in New York, in the UK, some 900 deaths overnight in the UK, I mean, it's absolutely horrifying what is happening in some other countries. We can be rightly proud of what we are achieving, but this Easter is a really critical time. We've got to keep flattening the curve. And in a lot of these regional and coastal communities throughout not just regional Victoria, but right across regional Australia, many older people live. There are lots of people who retire into smaller communities. So lots of vulnerable people. And I've had enormous support today from local residents saying thank you for speaking out for us. Thank you for getting the message out that we just simply cannot be sitting ducks. We know that if this virus spreads, it gets a grip, then our hospitals will be overrun and we cannot afford for that to happen. And I have to say, Peter, even today, I saw Darren Chester, the federal member for Gippsland, heading back from Canberra, and he was driving and he was pulled over by New South Wales police. Maybe his Victorian number plates gave it away, but they were checking on him to make sure that he was driving for a legitimate purpose. Victoria Police has done an incredible job right across the state, but we have to remain vigilant.
Sarah, the health implications are obvious, but there's also the economic implications and the impact that this is having on our economy. Are you hopeful, are you optimistic that when we come out of this on the other side, that we can repair the economy and that small businesses, which, you know, is part of your overall constituency, can get back on their feet?
Peter, I know this is just so difficult for so many small businesses, but as you know, we passed the JobKeeper legislation in the Parliament yesterday, an incredible $130 billion investment in jobs, in small businesses, in larger businesses, in keeping our economy afloat at this very difficult time. And I think when that particular policy was announced, there was a collective sigh of relief because Australians knew that their government stood shoulder to shoulder with them. I mean, can you believe it? We've had the drought, we've had bushfires, and now the coronavirus. I mean, it is absolutely debilitating. But Australians are incredible people. And I know that when we get through this, that we are all going to band together. I think there's going to be a resurgence of Australian manufacturing. There is going to be a resurgence of buying local, not buying imported products as much as we used to. I think Australians will become even more focused on supporting their own economy and what is produced locally. And I think that's going to be a very strong dividend out of the coronavirus pandemic here in Australia.
Sarah, that is so true. I can absolutely see that happening, where we become much more self-sufficient and we look upon ourselves. Globalisation is great while it's great, but when this sort of thing happens, when a pandemic like this happens, you can see how it impacts so significantly on our economy. Sarah Henderson, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
It's been great to talk to you, Peter. Thank you so much.